Hey boys, what is up? Welcome to another little update video on the upcoming Bradman Cricket game, or whatever it's going to be called, made by Big Ant. And a question came up in one of my previous cricket games, and he was asking, will the game be for either Xbox 360 or PS3? I can't remember, but obviously old gen, and chances are probably not. So I saw this little bit of info. So the people in the same thread, people were talking about whether or not it should come out for PS3, Xbox 360. People are obviously curious as to know if they would pick it up for those. But Ross actually says here, well, someone says here, and he makes a decent point. I agree with his point. He says it wouldn't make any financial sense to drop developing for last generation, which still has a much bigger base than current gen. I'm not sure if that's entirely true. It might be. Specifically for a niche game like this, which needs every bit of money to make a decent profit. Now I do agree with that. For a game that's not as big, like Bradman Cricket, obviously, you'd want it to be out there for everybody. But I don't 100% agree with that, and I'll get to that in a bit. But Ross here replies, the issue with GameStop, EB, and Game, they are saying they will not take last generation stock past March. So, I mean, that doesn't 100% confirm it's not going to be for last gen, but yeah, it's pretty safe to assume it won't be. So for any guys that have an old gen console and are looking to get this game, then you know it might be time to upgrade. And I feel, you know, it's a good move. You know, I feel like I would much prefer developers spending more time and putting more money into the current gen, you know, the three, PC, Xbox One, PS4, you know, if a game has to be made for 5 consoles, obviously the past gen and the current gen, then a lot of time, a lot of resources are going to be split up, and same thing goes with the next cricket game. So, you know, it lets Big Ant just focus on making it as good as it could be, because if they had the limitation, if you think of it like this, if they had the limitations of having to develop for the 360 or PS3, obviously that's limited. That's limited, and it's not as advanced as PS4 and Xbox One. And the thing is, with Big Ant, they're obviously not a huge company, so they can't like I don't know how big they are, but they can't like put like a whole separate team, or you know, pile heaps of money into the old gen and then put another team and put a lot more money into the current gen to make them substantially different or better on the current gen. So it would pretty much just mean that the PC, Xbox One, and PS4 versions would just be, they would have to be limited. That'd obviously look a bit better, and they'd be smoother, and there would be obviously improvements and graphical improvements, but it wouldn't be as good as it could be. But if they can just focus on the current gen, then they can make it theoretically as good as they possibly can. So, you know, there's obviously, like the guy said, there is a market there that they're gonna miss out on. But I feel like, you know, the old consoles, they're so old now. They're so old, and pretty much, you know, he does say that it's a bigger market. It might be true. The numbers might be true. But the thing is, if you're a gamer, you're eventually going to get a new console, because all games are going to stop producing for the old gen. So if you want to keep buying the new COD, the new Madden, the new FIFA, whatever games, then you're going to have to get a new console. Any new games that are coming out, it's going to be rare for them to make it for the old gen. So I think overall this is going to be a good thing. You know, like I said, it's not 100% confirmed, but the fact that they're not, you know, the game the game shops aren't going to be taking stock, it pretty much confirms it. I mean, in case, you know, maybe they make an exception, but other than that, I can't see how Big Ant could possibly make it for the old gen if they're not going to supply it. So yeah, if you have the old console, you know, maybe you look to upgrade, and you know, if you're a younger guy and you rely on your parents to buy you the consoles and stuff, well, I guess honestly, you're a bit shit out of luck, but you know, that's where you got to get a job and earn your own money and buy your own stuff. But yeah, that's a little bit of info for you guys, just to give you guys a heads up if you're if you're curious. And you know, I would say pretty much confirmed the next Cricket game is going to be made solely for the current gen, and I personally think that's a good thing for the game moving forward. But yeah, leave your, you know, I'm interested to hear other people's opinions on it. So if you have an input on that, then leave it in the comment section. But other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.